there was a couple of developments which I like to focus on. Basically, first of all, we discussed the gas crisis that UK is going through, which is mainly affecting gas companies in the UK recently, right? And in that, I briefly mentioned that there is this thing with lorry drivers and all that, but at the time I wasn't quite aware of the situation. But the situation has significantly evolved, and now there is a whole fuel, you could argue, fuel shortage crisis going on in the UK. There are long queues for fuel for petrol. There has been even a few cases of, I think media obviously exaggerates, but there has been few cases of fights broken out between people waiting in long lines for petrol. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I don't want to interrupt you in the middle. Continue.
No. And that is, and the issue is very, excuse me, today my voice is a bit of a crazy thing. The issue has become very political in a sense. So two major reasons have been given for this crisis. One is the fact that UK is no longer part of European Union, and lorry drivers, significant numbers of them were of European. But this,
and that's relevant because the lorry drivers would have been the ones bringing the fuel to the gas stations, right? That is that is why they're connected. So the fuel, the gas is somewhere. It's just not reaching the gas stations currently.
The petrol, that's true. I should have clarified. And Grant Shapps, whom I have a like, there can be no more person I think I hate in the world. But anyways, he wrote self-help books under a different name, and now he's a minister for fucks. Anyway, anyways, that's true. There is no fuel shortage in the UK per se. The problem is that there is not enough lorry drivers. At least that's what the UK government claims. There is no fuel shortage. There is not enough lorry drivers and lorries to deliver them to
the gas station. And now people have freaked out and they've gone and just filled up their cars, just kind of with the beginning. I mean, just like with the toilet papers in the beginning of
COVID. And a couple of weeks ago, shelves were going empty in UK supermarkets. So, so some people are saying that this is because of Brexit, and that's the main reason. That's causing problems with the supply chain, and that's causing problems with the labor force. And there is some evidence to support that. For example, a lot of people who own company of lorry companies, they said they are in contact with their former employees who've moved back to their country of origins, and they say they want to come back, but because of visa situation and all that, they can't. There were a couple of polls that showed 60% of lorry drivers believe that Brexit played a role in that.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking for like some of our maybe US audience, I mean, it is a little bit obvious, but yeah, before Brexit, Europeans, could just go live in the UK, just live there and then get a job if they could. They had a job, and then, they didn't have a job, they could just live there. But now, I mean, for a European to come to the UK, they would have to have a job in advance and everything, and only to do it through their employment. So that's the big dynamic, right? That in this story, they're saying Brexit has changed. So now they would have to bring, drivers in an official way for the duration of a contract and everything. So it's not that appealing to a lot of Europeans.
Sure. Yeah. And the process, I mean, that's what I'm going to get to, because that's one narrative right now going on in media. The other narrative by more conservative, let's say right-wing, pro-Brexit people, is that no, this is an issue with the fact that we don't have a trained workforce. No, this is an issue with the fact that we don't pay our lorry drivers enough. For example, I saw an interview in which a lorry driver pointed out that for getting a license and getting the necessary training and all that, you need to spend about £5,000 over the course of, like, let's say a year, to become a lorry driver, and then get paid 12 to 15 pounds per hour.
For a
So young
tough
people
job.
don't. It's a, yeah, tough job. Apparently, a very popular job. I'll get to that. Apparently, there is a whole culture associated with it, and lots of
That
people
makes
love that
sense.
sort
Yeah.
of thing. So there is that, and to, like, Ian Duncan, a former Conservative leader, whom I mean, they are Tories. I don't agree with anything they say, really. But by the way, that's what, like, this is one nation conservatism in a way. Like, he was, in a way, I like that he came on TV and said, well, when you have a problem like this, that you don't have enough workers for a job, the clear solution is that you have to pay those workers more or improve their working conditions, and then you attract more people to do those jobs. So I think that's a fair point too. Not to say that Brexit didn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with this.
I think both
So
narratives make sense. It sounds like a combination of both.
sure, but I don't like that. Again, I mean, I wasn't a big supporter of Brexit or staying in the EU. I didn't think it mattered that much. As time went on, I became a slightly more in favor of Brexit, to be honest, because of especially the way Brexiteers were treated and all that. Uh, but I think when you have such a shift in your political economy, these supply issues, these market issues, first of all, are unavoidable. Second of all, the blame lies with, I mean, Brexit has been happening for such a long time. And these people that in Guardian, in all these places, I read about these newses, and the way they cover this is still like they're hoping for like a return
Yeah.
to a like another people's vote or something. It's
Yeah.
over, it's done. So we should be focusing on why the fuck the government or the civil service or whoever has not from 6 months ago planned for
Address such
this.
an easy
You know,
problem, such a minor
exactly,
problem. I mean, if this is
exactly
the
because
worst outcome of Brexit, I mean,
exactly because right now they're, for example, issuing emergency visas for
yeah,
for people who could be lorry drivers. Even that's going to take a couple of months, by the way. So like these things could have been thought through,
yeah,
even if you disagree with Brexit, which I completely understand. But it's been happening, like, at least for the last year, it's been 100% happening. So
yeah,
there is no reason for this chaotic, like, this is a clear failure, management failure.
yeah. This is like a
And by the way,
governance issue, but yeah,
yeah, and
a
but
typical one.
just to clarify what I mean by what I mean by media reports that I despise. For example, I don't know if anybody saw that, but Olaf Schultz was actually asked about this, the sort of presumed winner of German elections. We talk about that later. He was asked about this by the Channel 4 news reporter, and he said two things. He said that, well, Britain is not part of freedom of the movements anymore, and that's, probably going to affect these type of things. Secondly, also, if you have a job like truck drivers, which is quite attractive to some people, but you don't have enough people doing that job, you have to probably look at that working conditions and improve that working conditions. So he basically mentioned the two factors that we just mentioned, correct?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah. No, no,
people
you're
should
accurate.
watch that video for themselves. Maybe I'm now look at the way Guardian reported it. I hope I don't mistake Guardian for another news outlet like last time. But anyway, Guardian reported it as end to freedom of movement behind UK fuel crisis, says Merkel's likely successor. Olaf Schulz, poised to become next chancellor, wades into a row over HGV driver shortage. You see, and by the way, most people don't read full articles and all that. So that's what I mean. I hate
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the politicization of these type of debates, because, as you said, probably all these factors played a role.
Yeah, no, those headlines, I mean, it's just typical type of media headlines those ways.
Center, lefty, centery.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, typical
But I
of
mean,
that
yeah,
kind.
I mean, this is technically speaking a much smaller problem than the gas crisis, which we talked about the other day, which is going to take um, probably a
Uh,
few months to be solved, really, and it's going to be cost, and gas is going to cost more, uh, and all
gas
that.
crisis is more of a crisis of for the system,
Yeah,
so to speak. But this fuel crisis is affecting daily lives,
yeah,
everyday
that's the
life.
thing.
So,
Yeah, and people are going to the
you
gas
know,
stations and long queues, and yeah, I mean, I saw a crazy. I think the article that you sent me said just the headline. What did it say? Like, you're right with the numbers. I got it right here. Up to 90% of UK petrol pumps dry amid panic buying. So yeah, but you
oh
know
yeah,
the
yes.
yeah
And by the way, I forgot to mention this. There will be a limited. That was another thing. There will be a limited. Military is going to get involved
yeah
basically, and couple of trucks or lorries. I don't know whatever
yeah
they are. Tankers, I believe, of militaries are going to be deployed to help to ease the situation.
man. Did I tell you this? But like during in the beginning of the coronavirus, like one of the employees at the supermarket told me this, but like as soon as people were always like pointing, they were like, "Oh, look, there are no more toilet papers. Oh my God."